Welcome, everybody, to the American Space Museum. I'm Mark Marquette, and we're so happy you're with us today to stay curious. As you see, a special day, as this is our third anniversary of bringing you space history, space conversations, over a dozen astronauts, and more importantly, having you be interested in our American Space Museum in downtown Titusville. Thank you for joining us. We got a surprise or two here for you today, as Marty Winkle, my co-producer and partner of this 3-year trek, is online there. Marty, cue up the USAC family microphone there and say hi to our Stay Curious fans.
Hey, Mark, and hello, world.
Hello, world. Yes. But it took me a while to get Marty just to say that much. Okay. I think we were in year 1.5 on that on there. But we're going to show some old slides of some of the old shows, talk a little bit about how this thing has evolved over 3 years, and have one of our important members here in just a few minutes, or that we couldn't have taken it to the next level without here. Of course, I'm talking about Jessica Kiki Galloway is in our studios, and I'll bring her on here in a little bit. But outside here on our green screen, that Marty and I had no idea what that was really and how to manipulate it, is the museum entrance. Actually, on the door is closed for COVID. We were closed the doors March 17th, 2020. And my boss, Karan Conklin, and I got to thinking, because the board of directors was going to allow our small staff to keep working. And I said, Karan, the people that have given us thousands of dollars to support this museum need to know that we're doing something. And let's try this Facebook Live thing, and let's show one artifact a day. And maybe schools will catch on to it, because we thought during the early COVID days, schools would need virtual trips, field trips. And so we were going in that direction. And Karan one day had a thought. She goes, well, as we were putting this together, Friday, March 17th, we closed. We were thinking about it throughout the week. And we joked each other about throwing spaghetti on the wall and then having epiphanies in the shower. And she came in one day and said, Mark, I had a shower thought. And I go, well, I hope it's decent, Karan. And she said, I want to call the program Stay Curious. And our now education director, Darren Roberts, he's kind of talented to do some artwork stuff, and he came up with the logo that you see on the upper left-hand corner, and we have trademarked that logo during our journey with Stay Curious. So Marty, I just want to say first that Marty has no knowledge about production of things like this in writing or video. I'm a writer all my life and work for Associated Press, so I'm a creative guy. And I respect Marty for being the tremendous engineer he is, but it's completely outside for Marty to be thinking so creatively. I'm not putting words in your mouth, right, Marty? You were somewhat, he's the left brain and I'm the right brain of this operation, all right? If you know what I mean. But I couldn't have done it without him, and his constructive criticism in the beginning really helped shape this. And I can't say enough about Karan Conklin giving me full reign to creativity and the direction we wanted to take this. And that direction has evolved into a forum basically for our 30-year space shuttle legacy that we celebrate like none other. Over 300 shuttle astronauts in our communities doing great things every day, and we want them to know that we celebrate their birthdays, and we want to celebrate their achievements in space throughout. That's what our museum is about. Because after all, the American Space Museum for 20 years has been preserving the birth of the American space age in what I call its delivery room, Brevard County. And we're very proud of that. We have artifacts like no one else has in the world, one-of-a-kind things that are in our galleries. We're a small, humble museum. We're a nonprofit. We've been given an A+ rating with all those institutions that rate nonprofits. We are the U.S. Space Walk of Fame Foundation, operated by the American Space Museum here. So you need to give a tax break. I posted a Facebook page as several people inquired how they could send a few bucks to help us to celebrate our birthday. We are in the process now of needing equipment to go on location and do some location things. Marty is now accredited to go out to anywhere he wants at the Cape Canaveral Space Force. And so we can go out there and do some programs out there for you and record some shows. So we want to do that, and we need equipment to do that. And we're applying for some grants, but you can earmark your contributions to the American Space Museum's Stay Curious program. We put the link up for our Shuttle Fest. It's going to be April 15th. And at the bottom of that is you can contribute and earmark it any way you want. So enough about, that it takes money to run a nonprofit, and we are a proud one. One of 3,000 in our county, by the way. Every county's got thousands of nonprofits that are needing money to operate on. So, well, let's get on with the fun here. Marty, have you got a comment about your 3-year involvement as a volunteer? Now, I'm a paid employee here, but Marty, your hours and endless time that you've devoted to this, thank you isn't enough.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, Mark, to do this. Like you said, I have learned a lot. I really enjoyed it. You did make it difficult at times, but
I did.
We got through it.
Yeah. Well, okay. And ditto. The most frustrating, and this is where the creativity of a person is creative like me, is I've never used a script. Okay, my script, in fact, is printing out the slides we're going to show here. And I've done it pretty much off the top of my head. And when you're doing that, you train that you're always thinking a few thoughts ahead of time. And when the microphone would go out, that frequently did, Marty would say, the microphone's out, the microphone's out. And I'm just in the middle of one of my great thoughts of a shuttle mission and how I was going to tell you all about it. And then I get stuck in the middle here with where I'm not talking. You can't hear what I'm saying. And though I wasn't frustrated at him, I was more frustrated that I have to stop what I got in my head and then reboot everything again. And that's part of it. So, well, you know me, I'm going to celebrate the right way. I've got me some Tang here. I'm a little bit thirsty. Going to be long-winded today. Here's some Tang to our 3rd anniversary. Tastes just as horrible as it does every time. No, it doesn't. It's actually got a tangy taste there to it. But we're going to take you down memory road here. The very first show was this one. On March 23rd, 2020, and I'm about 15 pounds lighter, I would say, than what my belly shows there. We're in our Mercury Gemini gallery. The logo has been unveiled and put together by Darren Roberts, Karan's idea for the Stay Curious. We've loved it. Beautiful logo, and now it's trademarked. Behind me is how apropos is this? That is the flight suit that Gus Grissom was wearing on this date, March 23rd, 1965, when he and John Young flew for about 3.5 hours, the first Gemini flight, 3 orbits around the Earth. How about that, Marty, for a coincidence? There's Gus's flight suit, a picture of him wearing it. We've got pictures of his brother Virgil in front of it. You'll see Virgil here in our program today. But on this date in history, March 23rd, was Gemini 3, the first flight of the 2-man Gemini spacecraft. And you want to hear more about that? Stay curious. Monday, we had Nick Thomas, the astronaut communicator at the Kennedy Visitors Complex. We call him the astronaut wrangler. Nick did a program on Gemini 3, and you can watch that on YouTube, which your participation on YouTube has helped us monetize it. Well, there's Marty and I together, and I remember meeting Marty at the museum and actually turned you on to the book Chariots of Apollo, that once I knew Marty worked for the Grumman Corporation that built the lunar modules, and truly a man I greatly respect. And Marty, you've done some amazing things in your life, and I think Stay Curious is one of your bigger contributions too, because of the outreach we've had. But there we are, doing it the old school way on a desk with backdrops that I set up. there I am with Karan Conklin, our executive director. A few years ago, Karan and I were at a travel agent show out at the port, setting up and telling people about the museum. And again, I can't say how much I love this woman as a professional. Uh, she's been involved with this museum 20 years and has been the executive director 5 years of that. And she's doing it her way. And one of her dreams was to have dozens of kids in our museum learning STEAM education. And thanks to the program and the grants they got together, we have that going on right now. So, and then we never thought Stay Curious was going to be anything but a short flash in the pan. And once everything got back to normal, we'd be getting me back to normal with which is communicating in the community at this. My role here as a community liaison is going to the Chamber of Commerce's and being involved in some things like that. But it was always creating programming once a month that we could have. And so I'd involved into that. So thank you, Karan, for supporting my ideas and Marty and this Stay Curious. And she supports me in so many other ways also. So here is our staff we got to brag about. Okay, we were actually founded in 1988 as a nonprofit, the U.S. Space Walk of Fame Foundation. Angie Roberts is Karen's assistant, and she's basically a grant writer, and a very detail-oriented lady that we need for our auctions. And Selvin Trotter is our accounting bookkeeper. And we're glad to have Selvin aboard here. The last came on board within the last 6 months. Anita Truex is our office manager. Anita, you'll see a picture of her with an astronaut here in this program. And appreciate all she does. She has got the gift shop looking unbelievable and some great items. And you may come in if you're local and just buy something from the gift shop. We'd love you to do that. Darren Roberts is our STEAM educator and had about 24 kids in the building today on 3 sessions, learning about some cool things about leverage and weights and so forth. Bruce Jacobs is our unsung hero, our IT manager. Bruce just is an amazing guy. He was a space shuttle worker. Lorraine Merchant was in here today. She deals with the monuments. You can still put your name on the monuments on the Apollo era if you work for them by giving us $100. Lorraine will take care of that. Dan McCune, saw Dan in the building today. He used to be a crane shuttle operator in the VAB, and he's our facilities manager. And then Connie McDaniel, hope you're watching today, Connie. Move this chair out of the way there. She's our ultra volunteer, Connie is. She's on vacation up in the Carolinas, freezing to death up there because it's in the 30s or 40s. But and she has been pinch hitting once in a while, learning our Streamlabs program with Marty. So these are our key players here at the museum. Just the first 5 at the top up there, 6 of us are paid. A couple of them are paid by outright grants. So we're a humble nonprofit here, and we're glad that you found us. And those of us that found us on Stay Curious, please don't feel bad if your name's omitted off this list. I put up a few solid people there every day, like Dave Stange and Robert Law and Larry Pushkar. Ophelia is in France. Cliff Watson watches almost every day and sends us money on those stars. He is in Pomona, Australia. William Whiting lives in Michigan and down here part-time now. And Cynthia Rossi, Doug Forrest, Hazel Banks worked as a secretary for the Apollo era. You got Gary Gerald, a farmer in Georgia, has been in the building. So is Daniel DeYoung's an airline pilot. Melissa Pope works on the coast here. Emily Carney, y'all know Emily. She's Space Hipster #1. Got a picture of Emily holding a $2,000 rare artifact. And Tony Achilles, Christopher Mick, Steve Hammer, and the rest of you on there. Thank you so much for what you've done to increase our program over the last 3 years. Here's some of our guests just in 2022, folks. If you don't think that we're hustling to put people in front of you that know what they're talking about, we go from Jay Honeycutt, former Kennedy Space Center director, 2 astronauts, John David Bartow and Jim Harrington, last year, and Ellie in Space. Y'all may be following her. So what a great group of people that we have on here, and a lot of regulars on there that we love. And here's three of the best: Mark Usiak, his brother Tom on the right, and hello, Mr. Chris Calley, one of the world's premier space artists. We are, and the Usiak brothers, outstanding photographers, and we are blessed that they have wanted to be part of Stay Curious. Oop, getting my balloon away from there, Marty. As I see it's getting in my way there. There we go. All right. So who else have I got here? I got it there, Kiki. I'll wrap it around there a little bit tighter and make a knot in it there. So, and we love saying who watches Stay Curious. And there's our Dr. Doolittle there with the animals there, Carlton Bailey. Hey, CB. I did not stay up for the launch yesterday of the 3D rocket last night, and I hadn't looked at your pictures yet, so we'll do that. But Carlton Bailey, another professional rocket photographer that is allowing us to use his work on Stay Curious on a daily basis. It means so much to bring you all some great pictures and what's happening here on the Space Coast, and Carlton has been there for us. Well, let's look a little bit about how this show evolved. We would set up basically, some days Karan would say at about 11 in the morning, what are you going to do on Stay Curious? And I'd say, I don't know. What do you want me to do? And I'd look up the date and space history and go over to maybe a section in our museum that relates to that. And Marty shows up. And Marty's important role in the early days was the cameraman. That was so important. And I had that man zooming in and trying to follow me as we would print out print sheets of our, and use lithographs of the story we were telling. Here's Skylab 4. Some would be sideways and upside down even, and in wrong order, but that would be what I'd try to get together. And there's my tuxedo I kind of wore at the time. Here we are. This is one of my favorite pictures of Stay Curious, Marty. Here we are with Lowell Grissom, Gus's brother, in our Cape Canaveral gallery, doing an interview with my whiteboard there. That was my screen teleprompter there. So I see our guests, our studio's being invaded here by the boss. Come over here, Karan. Come on. Karan.
It's you. Right.
We've got it minimized here. Got Karan in here, Angie and Darren, and everybody come around here just a second there. There's Karan on there. And you got some cupcakes. All right.
Yeah.
Good. Angie's there.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And Angie deals with your money, and I already gave a good pitch, so she'll be waiting to count those hundreds as they come in there. But Karan, thank you for this, and we will eat that. Would you like a little tang?
Yes, sure. Thank you.
All right, good. We'll get a little tang there, and if you let get Darren, let her come through there, and we'll get Darren around the corner there. If you let, I want to get Anita on here. Anita's really an unsung hero.
Yeah, she's here all the time.
She's saying no.
She'd prefer not
Okay,
to.
all
She
right.
says thank you, but no thank you.
Okay. Well, I got a picture of you anyway with Charlie Walker in there. Anyway, Karen's our executive director. Like I said, 20 years involved with this. We never thought this would even go past a year, really.
No, we didn't think we'd go past a month.
Yeah, well, I thought I was pretty good.
You were all right, but we didn't realize it was going to catch on like it did.
Yeah, and it's but of all the things you've done at the museum, and you've done a lot. There's a lot of I mean, it's incredible. They've had 12 astronauts at dinners. They've had all kinds of stuff. I mean, and you and I met actually like 5 years ago.
Right.
My first trip in this museum was Easter 2018.
Yeah.
And I was writing a column on astronomy for 22 years in Johnson City, Tennessee, in a newspaper. And I called up after my tour and I wanted to talk to somebody, and you gave me 20 minutes to answer my questions.
Yeah.
And then Karan and I looked at our watches 2 hours later.
Right.
And I knew I was never going to leave your site there
Okay.
after that. Really,
Well,
that's true though. We
That's
really,
because we like threw that hook and did a little reeling
Yeah.
in, and we got you.
we were talking about. I told her astronomy was the shiny object that
Mhm.
would bring people into the museum,
Right.
and we worked on that. But little did we know that we would reach people like Mr. J. Honeycutt
Yeah.
and Scott Polk in Tasmania, Australia, and then have. We took it to the next level at Shuttlefest 1
Yeah.
with Mr. Harrington, the launch director, had 3 launch directors there.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, for me, I pinch myself some days that everyone that knew where I grew up knows that this is a dream. And to be able to make it a career here late in life, and I make no bones about it. Well, I'm a senior citizen, and this is unbelievable to be
Well-
doing things you loved doing when you were a kid.
Well, we're glad to make your dreams come true, Mark.
All right,
We
good.
love you.
But how can we make your dreams come true?
Oh, I'll have to get a notepad. I'll start. I didn't
Yeah.
know that I could make a list. Right?
Angie's been with us about
Yep.
3 years here, and Angie, you've
Yep.
seen this evolve. What kind of comment do you have about our people that helped this grow?
This is an amazing place to be. And the fact that everything is personal at this museum, it's not just about astronauts, as wonderful as they are, but it's about everybody that got them there as well. That
Yep.
goes so far.
Yeah.
And I love that. And if you want to make her day, everybody come visit the museum.
Come visit the
That's
museum.
right. That's right. We're $10 for adults, $8 senior citizens. Kids under 12 are free, so
Yeah.
those teenagers are $5. And we
droves.
and we have, what, and we get a lot of people from out of the county as well as out of the country. Every day we have people from Europe in here.
Yes, every day.
Really, it's hardly a day doesn't go by that there's someone not from Europe or.
Well, it's funny. I always say people around the world know we're here, and people down the street don't know who we are. So
Yeah.
From Canada. We're in here
Canada today. Good. And we were bragging about Darren's over there. He had about 36 kids in the museum today, and I know the STEAM education has always been
Very
on
important.
what you wanted to bring in this museum.
very important.
And tell everybody how that's working out.
Oh, it's fabulous. We have Darren, who's doing a wonderful job, and every week he says I have to add more workshops to the calendar because now I have another homeschool group, or now they want me to go into the school for 7th graders, and it's just every day. And he started out. We were going to do
6 kids a month.
6 kids a month is what we were looking at when we started,
Mm-hmm.
and now he has to do probably about 4 a week. Yeah, maybe four
4 to
Days
5
a week,
3 classes.
3
a day.
classes a day, and
12
they're
12 kids per class.
12 kids per class, and they are full all the time.
Good.
So he's just taken our education and just run with it. We're so happy.
Well, we're grateful for that, and that's part of the grant process that we do to keep these things going. So, people involved with things like that, tell them to support us that way.
Right.
But I know it's been a big dream of hers to get this going from the beginning, and so I'm happy to see that. And then, and we'll have Darren on one day, and we can talk about it there.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
great.
why we need some money for remote equipment, so we can go back there to him.
Right.
It's easier than him coming to
Coming
us
up
here.
here.
But and back there is our conference room that is a science and conference room now. So, well, Karen, wrapping up here. Stay
Yep.
curious. I had a list of some of the people up there.
Well,
Let me show you that. I can go back to. I mean, this is what we're about right here. Are these loyal followers, people like that for our museum?
most definitely. We want to thank every one of you for tuning in every afternoon. You're the ones that made this possible for 3 years. So thank you.
And the compliments we got in the, I hear someone just yesterday worked at Langley during the COVID. He said, I couldn't wait for you to come on every day because we were at home in the basement,
Right.
and not leaving the house for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And we did have thousands of people watching back in those days.
Right,
So
those days. Yeah.
we need to get them back and watch and stay curious. But, we provide it 5 days a week. There had always been talk of why do you want to do it 5 days a week? And I think I resisted that. kind of bullheaded in a way,
Yeah.
because I felt like space history happens every day.
Right.
It does.
How can we take a break? I have a hard enough time not posting stuff on the weekend
Right.
on Facebook because, it's space history is incredible every day of the year now. And every day of our lives for the last 22 years, we've had humans orbiting Earth.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
And there's 10 people orbiting Earth right now, 7 on the space station, 3 on the Chinese space station, and anything could happen.
Yeah.
And so we've actually broke some news on here time or
I know
two.
we have.
So,
That's awesome.
anyway, thank you, Karen.
Thank
Love you
you.
very
Love
much.
you too.
Love you. Give you a hug there.
Okay,
And
good.
Angie,
Thank
thank you
you.
for all that you do, and our staff here. And let's
Absolutely.
see some other pictures there.
I'm going
So.
to take my
Thanks
tang.
for
All right,
the
thank you.
education for the grown-ups too.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank
Got
you.
my tang.
All right. And so we're going to get on here a little bit there. Thank you all for bringing me a cupcake and celebrating with us here. We'll get down our has CB there. We were talking about how I love dealing with, this was fun to do, but look at our situation there. Wasn't as always easy to do a program. God bless Lowell Grissom. He's still around. He usually comes in January for the celebrations. John Tribe, thank you, John and Melinda Tribe, for supporting our programs here at the American Space Museum. This is one of the Brits that was of the Apollo program, come from Britain. John was also on the headphones of that horrible night, January 27th, 1967, when we lost our Apollo 1 astronauts. He was there. And the way he shares and the way he supports the museum is a blessing. And there's Mr. Bob Seek, one of the early interviews we've had with Bob. He launched 57 shuttles. My first time interviewing him, I was nervous, so he's on our board of directors there. Hair was getting longer there in the COVID, too. There's Marty back at our Apollo console. The lady in the back's from Kansas City, I think, that was here for a launch. But this was a setup that Marty would have, a laptop with a camera on a tripod, which we still have that, but what's replaced is we got a gaming computer that's at a desk here. And he's looking, this picture is looking at Mike McCulley. There, this is a setup, and then he's looking at Mike and me there. And thank you, Mr. Mike McCulley, pilot of STS-34. On this program, Marty, he challenged people to give $1,000. He said he gave left $1,000 check here, and then hopped in his hot Stingray Corvette and challenged everybody. And I know Larry Osterley matched that $1,000, our board president. And there's Anita Truex with Charlie Walker. We had our museum closed and the floors were up to put new carpet, and Charlie Walker comes in. All right. And what a great guy. We visited him out to Astronaut Encounter. Then Marty and I took him out to dinner one night that he was here doing the Astronaut Encounter. And, just a wonderful, amiable guy, and still stay in touch with Charlie Walker. 3-time mission specialist, a science nerd that got to go to space 3 times. Marty, what would you like to say about Walker there? Anything? You may interject any time, Marty, and defend yourself.
You're in a roll, Mark. I don't want to interrupt you.
Okay.
I really enjoyed Charlie Walker. Like you said, he was really friendly. Really nice guy.
Yeah. As so many of them are. I mean, it's, you wouldn't know that he wasn't a life insurance salesman or something and from an astronaut. Yep. I got a lot of looks like that, folks, from Marty a time or two as he's going, I told him not to do that, or what the heck's he doing now, type of thing. But as we evolved, we actually did a few shows boldly, and this is Nicole Watts. Yes, Nicole Watts. And Nicole Watts is from Austin, Texas. Marty met her dad and her out at Spaceview Park and said, would you like to come up and watch a launch with me? And Marty at the time was living up in a condo overlooking the place. And bingo. There's my notes. I had to do that is demo 2, crew demo 2, Spaceview Park in the background. It got scrubbed. So I had to do the auction the next day with Chuck Jeffrey. So I missed the launch because we had to do the auction, and she did the commentary for us. And Marty did the camera work. Great shot, Marty, from 9 miles away. On a morning where, you got the haze and everything in there, that was quite amazing. And, well, here's another old school way we did it. Here I am with space reporter Ken Kramer, who's been a big help to Stay Curious. Note the printed name tag, Marty, are kind of mini posters that we did every day to introduce our guests. And the COVID barrier there, courtesy Space Coast Windows gave that for free, that we would actually have that plastic between us there. And I did some programs of beginning astronomy on my cell phone. Okay, there's the crescent moon and Venus. And actually, 3 years later, the moon is going to be right by Venus tonight. That was the planet Jupiter that the slender moon was beside there. I put my camera on a selfie stick and taped the selfie stick to a tripod and did a few shows like that. And here I am with Dean Schaff, a good friend of mine now. Dean's president of the Brevard Veterans Memorial. What an active place it is, with the COVID barrier there between us there. And I would ask guests how sensitive they were about the COVID. Some were more so than others, and some shows I actually wore a COVID mask during the show. There's our COVID mask, the chief of police there, Mr. Lau, Chief John Lau, and Amy Matthews has been a great help to us of keeping some of the vagrants out of Spaceview Park so you can visit it there. And of course, there is Lee Solid on the right, the rocket guy responsible for 30 engines on the Saturn V. And of course, that's Lieutenant Fuzz there. It was his nickname because he was so young when he showed up. Dr. Al Kohler, 18 years old when he started working at Kennedy Space or Cape Canaveral, and that's his Lieutenant Fuzz helmet that they called him there. But to emphasize, we started this thing in COVID, and there's sort of our mishmash setup. You never knew what kind of backdrop I was going to be posing or telling Marty we're going to be behind the moon today, or we're going to go in the Apollo Gallery, or we've got Thad Altman of the Astronaut Memorial Foundation. Let's put him in front of all the planets there. But then that all changed thanks to this young lady that I'm going to bring on board here. Hello to you.
Mark, I think you forgot your wardrobe check here.
Ah,
I brought our friend, Flat Mark.
Yeah.
Flat Mark. If anybody remembers in the very early times, probably one of the first shows that I watched was when you were home. And you did it from your cell phone. And we had Mark with a little voiceover. We zoomed in on that. And I think that Marty walked around to the museum and still showed things.
So then when I went out of town, I had my Flat Mark, like Flat Stanley, which you grew up with Flat Stanley as a kid.
Yeah.
You'd color a guy named Stanley and put it in your envelope, mail it to grandma, right?
And your wardrobe, your space wardrobe is expanding.
Yeah, it is.
So
I didn't wear my usual Stay Curious tuxedo.
He's got an assortment over here. I'm like, we're gonna have to get you a clothes rack here, Mark.
Yeah, that might be good if we had room in here.
I'm gonna need to get in on this.
Yeah,
tag.
here, get you some.
Are you gonna give me a real cup?
Oh yeah, get you some glass tank.
Can give me a real cup.
Real cup there.
Oh yeah.
And I want to toast Jessica Galloway here. A toast to what she did was take us to the next level with the green screen and so forth.
Screen.
Tell us what your job is and what you're doing now.
Well, I still own my own business. I am the owner of Cheap Development. We do website design, social media management, and digital business solutions. I met Mark when I was employed at the Titusville Area Chamber of Commerce as the director of First Impressions. And I really, really liked the museum. I worked right across the street during that Crew Dragon launch that got scrubbed. I was over there doing a live for the chamber. And y'all were right over in the park. I was sharing your stuff and you were sharing mine. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get with them. I think we can take this up a notch. And then I went to Kansas to help my mom out when she was not feeling well. She was sick. And we did a lot of the first steps remote.
That was July 2021.
Some of the very first labels that we had at 21.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been with it about 2 years.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then we did the labels, the Streamlabs, all the fancy stuff here. We got you working in Google Drive and updates and words and spreadsheets. I mean, the stuff that these guys have picked up. I taught Marty a whole piece of software, and Mark picked it up too. He's actually ran it a couple times without Marty here. He's been like, okay, come in, let me look and see if it's set up. Can you look? And I'll peek in. I've got remote desktop set up so I can sneak in on the computer. And but right now I need that remote desktop set up because I got a big girl job. I'm working at an elementary school as the IT technician there. So I'm helping out.
It's a charter school.
Robert Louis Stevenson Elementary. It's a lottery school, a choice school.
Okay.
It is in Brevard School District, and I get to work on computers. I'm the yearbook club advisor. So
And you were just honored as the employee of the year
at my
there.
school. Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
I get my very own parking space. It's where I want to park. Right, it's the closest spot to my office.
Well,
I
told Karan for once we knew that this Stay Curious had some traction, and they all realized that I had the chops to pull it off. Was I go, well, someday somebody's going to walk in the museum that knows all this technical stuff, and we're going to run it like a TV show, like a news show.
And I said,
say
less.
I saw you talk at the one of our chamber events, and you were promoting your business. She paid the $100 to give everybody a sandwich. And
oh, that's right. It was my sponsored Friday.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
over at the Garden
Power
Club.
Hour. It was Power Hour. I've sponsored Power Hour.
And I knew
right.
then. I just saw how she talked and so forth, and I said, I'm going to get to know this gal and see if she can help us. She might be the one. But Karan can tell you, that's what I said, was someone's just going to walk in one day and bing, this thing will go to another level. And it did.
It was baby steps. It was baby steps. I got you on keyboards. I tried to figure out where this keyboard was the other day.
Oh, did you?
I was like, where is that really nice keyboard I have? My principal has the same keyboard.
But
I love it
no,
so
and
much.
it wasn't easy. 2 old dogs learning some new tricks, and we fought like families a few times.
Little
that's how
heated.
But you and I know that's how creative people are. All right,
100%. Left brain, right brain.
But it was because of her passion, I realized, that she wanted it to be really good. She was really critical about how it looked in the beginning.
I was like, you guys, come on, stop with the labels and do the words better.
But then she was right, but it just, and really, I told Marty, just give it some time. One day we're not going to need her. And we do need you, but
y'all call me once or twice.
When every time we call her, when we have a problem, Jessica is always there. And I'll say this: you're a little different of a person, face to face out on the street and hanging out with you. But when she's working, folks, you have a very calm demeanor about you. Marty's hair's on fire, and we're on the speaker,
this is fine.
And all of a sudden,
this is fine.
You're everything is just fine.
I'm like, okay,
you really got a great neck for that.
Let's check the eyeballs. Let's check the gears. Yeah. What have you tried already? And it's some little meticulous things. If you unplug this microphone, it forgets. The computer forgets it exists, and we got to remind it.
So
just our little tricks and words that we come up with.
So I really, because we've had some hair on fire situations that we just didn't know about, which is the nature of the beast as you as an IT person.
I don't think it's ever been hair on fire. Not so bad.
Not that bad. Well, for him, maybe.
I think one. We had to cancel one show because the power was out or something.
Yeah, we did, and I should have probably did that show from my phone. Looking back, I should have cranked the phone up and done it. But I was kind of mad about that.
He was angry at that day. But I brought Flat Mark. I brought your wardrobe. Yeah. I'm gonna have some Tang. You've got some good
let's
pictures.
Look at a couple memories here with me here. As we there's your setup there. Okay.
There's me.
And,
we upgraded.
So we took the green screen, and then this was our situation for about a year in the back room, and the board of directors and Nick Enix, our collection manager, and Karan agreed that we needed a gallery of our own. So they took the Hubble gallery.
It was real busy.
There's Marty learning the Streamlab.
Look at all those little Post-it notes. Yeah. He doesn't even have any now.
And then this was a great day.
I
we
loved
had
it.
astronaut Nicole Stott. Okay, there's Jean Wright. We thank Jean for supporting our program.
Which one of your vests is a Jean Wright exclusive?
The planets up there.
The planets.
I gave a shout out to her the other day. But this was about as many people as we could get in our conference room, where Darren Roberts now is doing steam. And I got my vest on there and talking to Nicole Stott on her birthday on a Stay Curious program when
She's so cool.
She signed over 70 books that day. But this was our
I have 2 of
situation. Yeah, they even had a white screen there to kind of, so no one would wander over and mess with the studio stuff. And there's the Usiak brothers,
Yeah.
Mark on the left, looking a little woolly in his
That's all right.
Amish beard there.
That's all right.
And big brother Tom, and that's Tim Gagnon, the patch guy.
The patch guy.
Tim's
Worked
been
with
involved
him.
with the
Worked with
museum
him real recently.
for a long time, and Tim has designed a Shuttle Fest emblem that I'm calling it, that we're putting on a coin that you help
I helped
digitize.
with the
on
I
that.
helped with the
I think
coin.
people will like that, don't
I think
you?
so. I'm hoping we could maybe get some people to say they want shirts because we got a real big version of it too.
Yeah, we
So
can
we're working on it. So give us some likes in the comments
So we
if you want
started
a
doing
shirt.
some, yeah, we started doing some Zoom stuff. Yeah, we'll probably have a Shuttle Fest shirt, but we're gonna have Cali shirts there too. We did a few Zoom things, and we need to do more Google Meet things now.
Yeah, we converted
and
because
we-
we're Google children up in here.
But we need to. We've got people waiting to do that. But it was quite amazing to do this and not know what we were doing. And during the pandemic, she's got 1,000 views there. And Nikki Stott, we love you. She's very into our museum, and we're very into her. Her Stott-isms, like
Stottisms.
Stott
We've got them all over the place.
Yeah, and it's like slow down to go fast.
And we're not the human race.
We're not passengers.
We're not passengers.
on the
We're
Earth.
crew.
We're crewmates.
Crewmates.
We got to treat each other like crewmates. And Nicole's mantras are: we are all Earthlings. We all live on a planet, and the only border that should matter is the thin blue line that keeps us alive. So.
Which
we've been
that's our background on our remotes.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, we have one of our backgrounds that we like to go to for those lives is that thin blue line. It's a peek out that window because it looks real good on the remote.
It does. NASA legend Joanne Morgan, the only woman in the control room at the launch of Apollo 11 in 1969, and her mentoree there, Susie Cunningham, a great friend of the museum. We talked to them. Mr. Jay Honeycutt and his wife, thank you so much for supporting our museum in many ways. A well-beloved leader out there at the Space Center, 2 years as a director. This man is behind the scenes of a lot of success stories out there.
Every person.
And I'm privileged that he even knows who I am.
Every person that I talk to, everybody's got a story. Everybody's got something to say, and it's just so cool.
White Room lead Travis Thompson also has been a valuable contributor to Stay Curious.
Triple
and though
T.
he's moved on, we thank him for his wonderful stories. And you may see some of those stories of Triple T's on.
Give that a rewatch, you guys.
On YouTube. There are some great stories from him. And Alex last name. Alex Carls is the Capcom for ESA to the International Space Station and talks to the ESA astronauts.
He's been on quite a few times.
And he wants to come on Google Meet. So
Yep.
before you leave today, you got to refresh us how to do this.
I got it. I updated the list.
All
I
right.
promise. We've got directions.
Emily Carney, thank you for supporting
Yeah.
us. She's got her own audio podcast once a week, and we love her. She found this museum way before I did. Oh yeah, and she's Space Hipsters #1. For
Number
those
one.
who don't know.
Numero
She
uno.
started, and there's over 20,000 followers on that.
It's one of the little
Space
groups on the
Hipsters
Facebook.
that.
We love that.
And Kiki, she's holding a Grumman space shuttle that
That's
was to
Marty's.
be launched on the Saturn S1B.
Marty was Grumman, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And Grumman didn't get the contract because
they-
President Nixon was from Los Angeles, and so was Rockwell.
Salty.
And it had a little bit to do with that.
Oh,
But that
it's
sold
politics.
that sold for over $2,000. That
That's an
model
auction
there.
piece. Nice.
Yep. Ellen Brown. We don't have enough women on Stay Curious.
More.
You women space workers out there. We need more women.
Call
on.
us.
And she's a good one out there at Kennedy Space Center, and she brought with her Randall Clay, and these two wonderful Artemis engineers out there got stick. Oh, by the way, Marty, I got to brag about you there as we go back this way. You all know Marty's 6'5", right?
Yeah,
Up
obviously.
there. See how tall Randall is.
He's
there.
a tall dude.
No.
Marty's. I think I got a few inches
th-
on him.
You think? Yeah. Marty's not 6'5". Randall's 6'5".
Marty's flip. Marty's like the inverse. Are we? Okay. We're the same height.
Don't make fun of Marty's height. He can do 100 pull-ups, sit-ups. and
Marty will
chin-ups.
do loops
and does
on.
it every morning.
Marty will do loops
Yeah,
on the
Marty.
little go-kart, the little
I'm
scooter.
not short. I'm just vertically challenged.
Yes.
Yes.
But
Marty'll lap me on his little scooter. We've got, I should probably share that video of us in the parking lot playing on Marty's new scooter. That was a good one.
Well, I put Ellen and Randall in there to thank
Yeah.
them because they got us in their Toss Times magazine out there at Kennedy Space Center,
Yes.
bragging about our program. We also interviewed astronaut Andy Allen.
TOSC.
He was a lot of fun on there.
Acronyms.
Yeah,
We're going to hold up the sign, TOSC.
that's right. We had an event that we've done several events that we broadcast through Stay Curious. One was our book signing, Bringing Columbia Home.
Done
Mike Leinbach
3
and
or 4
author
book
Jonathan
signings.
Ward.
Yeah.
And Mike is supporting our museum. And then we did our Shuttle Fest. But here was a great group there. There's Dr. Kohler on the left. Terry White, who does a monthly program. He's the Shuttle Garage manager, I call him. In the
Garage?
middle there is, he's one. And then in the middle there's, of course, Bob Seek launched 57 shuttles. And next to him, launched over 35. He launched 35 shuttles.
That's a lineup, man.
Yeah, Mike Leinbach and Jonathan Ward, who's been a friend of our museum and author of not only the Columbia book, Bringing Columbia Home, but the book on Eileen Collins, Breaking the Glass Ceiling on there. And he follows Stay Curious. And it's people like Jonathan Ward and Terry White that have expanded our audience by sharing with their friends.
Love that.
There's Mr. Lowell Grissom, brother of Gus, and I chit-chatting there. Picture I showed earlier. Incredibly, we're at March 23rd, the date when Gus Grissom was wearing that flight suit behind there in 1965.
Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah,
I
I
love
did. Of
when-
course I did.
I love when you accidentally
Of course I
figure
did.
things out like that.
Jessica,
Now-
nicknamed Kiki, there's so many serendipities in life, and as you get older, you're going to realize more things don't happen by chance.
No,
They happen
it's
for a
meant
reason.
to be. It's meant
And
to be.
like I was sharing, Karan and I, our conversation, 20 minutes she answered my questions for my story, and really 2 hours later, we're looking at our watch and go like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And it was all about talking about that I'd like to get involved in here. And folks, I moved here for this museum. I really did.
Yeah.
And never regretted a day
Well,
of
and
it.
like you said when Karen was in here, that space history happens every day, and it was that's what happens. We've got a little file cabinet. We've been building your little scripts.
Yeah.
So we go back to the same days. We've got files with all the stuff in it, and
in our database in the
Yep,
cloud.
in the cloud. We're
which I
working
didn't
on.
trust the cloud.
He didn't.
And now
trust
I
the
live
cloud.
in the
He
cloud.
lives in the cloud. He's all about the cloud.
Oh my God.
This almost space. It's so cloudy.
That's right. It is.
But I think that when I after I met you through the chamber and all of that, and we talked, and I was like, I want to do this because and this patch reminded me of it. This patch right here is the Cosmosphere. I'm from Wichita, Kansas, and we would go to the Cosmosphere. I want to say I probably went every year when I was in grade school, as a field trip or something.
I envy that.
And I ate the crappy
Ice
ice
cream.
cream sandwiches, and I have memories of that and that interaction. And this, I would tell people when I worked at that welcome center, I said, you gotta go across the street. I'll call them right now and find out. Here's your little coupon in the welcome center. And I would send people over here because I thought it was so cool. It was so hands-on, and all the monuments and everything for the space workers, the day-to-day space, not just astronauts and big rockets, but you
Yeah.
know, the real
Right, yeah.
nitty-gritty down to the dirt.
Which
So
we got manuals, we got helmets,
so
we got
cool.
consoles, we got one-of-a-kind things here.
So it's full
Um,
circle, it's like my roots, my Kansas roots. No, I'm not in Kansas anymore, and I'm here, and
If the Cosmosphere is not on your bucket list, I
Go.
question you that you're a space geek.
you should go
But,
100%.
it is an incredibly out of the way Hutchinson, Kansas place that has a lot of Russian artifacts they're famous for. It's huge.
I think one of the
Uh,
exhibits that I remember was they had pieces of like the Berlin Wall
Yeah,
when it was there.
it's
Yeah,
kind of a
yeah.
dark history of the V2 rockets, actually.
And I think
And,
one of the lunar modules that Marty worked on is in
Well,
a big
Gus
display.
Grissom's Mercury capsule's there. Apollo 13's there, capsule.
Tons
And
of it.
Marty, you got a comment there?
Yes, my comment. Jessica, did you know that Apollo 7 was the only mission that flew your crappy ice cream?
Was it? My crappy ice cream is only in one mission? How is it like the thing that's in every space gift shop? It's
Yeah.
like freeze-dried astronaut ice cream. What's up? No,
That's for the
That's-
people on the ground.
That's space. That's space to me. You know, my Kansas delusional cosmosphere field trip self. But now, you know, it's different. It's the workers. It's the people that are keeping all these little bells and whistles going on things. It's the interviews that we do, and it's, you know, the astronauts that come and support the museum too. It's full circle.
Well, we got watching today, Marty, Mark Usiak and Doug Forrest,
Of
Bill
course.
Whiting gave us 100 stars, Ophelia Sauterelle in France, Robert Law on his big screen in
All of
Dundee,
them.
Scotland.
He watches it on YouTube.
Yeah, he does.
Since we went to
and while,
YouTube.
so while we're thanking these people, and you have the UCF microphone cued there, we're about at the end here. I was going to show you a couple favorite guests and fans here. What are some of the shows that come to mind that you enjoyed?
I think my favorite show was the UFO show.
With
I mean, a lot of the
Ken
shows were
Verron.
really great shows, but I'm just interested in UFOs and aliens.
All right. Well, we've had this is our 779th program today, so it's hard to single many of them out. But I tell you what, Hazel Banks has been there for over 700
90% of them,
That's
I'm
right.
sure. She's
as
always
Dave
there.
Stangy's missed like two.
No, he's
Thank you,
upset
Dave.
when he does. He's in the comments. Hey, I'm gonna catch the rewatch. I promise, and he
Tom
does.
Usiak, of course. We've had him on the show several times. Cynthia Rossi's local. Going to show this guy here in a minute. Selvin Trotter's watching, our bookkeeper.
I dropped a share right before I got on.
Laurel Mendez, okay. And shout out to the rest of our friends out there.
I think I've seen some of these names before. Connie McDaniel,
Hey,
yeah, Connie. Daniel DeJong, that was another name that
He's
we've
the airline
seen.
pilot.
Yep. Steve Hammer, Melissa Pope, 3-minute flight instructor, the Cape Blue Collective, and Chris Callie, of course.
No, the Code Blue.
Oh, the
Collective.
Code Blue.
That scares us because
Code
Code
Blue.
Blue is you're dying, right?
Yeah, I thought it said Cape.
Oh, is it?
Y'all, I don't know. No, it's Code Blue. I remember.
Anyway. Hey, we're glad everybody's enjoying it today. Chris Callie, thank you.
Everybody,
for
all the
supporting
familiar
us in so
names.
many ways. We're going to be selling Chris and his dad's artwork on T-shirts.
And Cliff Watson.
in Pomona up there. How about this guy on Stay Curious, Marty? We've always had a lot of fun with Ozzy.
Ozzy is
Ozzy.
so cool. The first time that he was in here, when he did that first one, he was talking about the 321 area
Rocket
code.
Hobo.
Rocket Hobo. He
Yeah.
does his own little show from it when he goes
Spaceview
out there
Park,
from
yeah.
Spaceview Park.
He's responsible for the 321 area code here in Brevard County.
He's the guy.
Yeah, he is the guy.
He said, "What if it was a countdown?" And I love it.
Nick Thomas is on once a month now doing a program. We appreciate him. Terry White, Mr. Shuttle Garage. And unfortunately, we lost Hugh Harris about a month ago at age 95. But what a pleasure. And what a 95. Yeah. 90. I said 95. 90 is 90. Thank you, Marty. See, that's why I need Marty. I had the wrong age.
Fact
on
check.
Hugh.
Acronyms.
God bless Hugh. You know, just he really embraced this. I'll talk about him in a moment.
You can
And,
catch his some of our recent
Surprise,
interviews.
surprise! Yeah, there's Christopher Mick.
Yeah.
Hello, surprise Christopher Mick and his daughter Kelly
Yeah.
on a visit here to our museum over a year ago. That was when we were back in the corner there.
The corner green
And I
screen.
got my regular vest on there. But Christopher Mick is a solar system ambassador and outreach in Hudson, Wisconsin, up there. So, there is Jefferson Michaelis from Brazil, and very involved in our museum. And there gives you a taste of our green screen and the lighting back here. and so forth. There's my $100 bill. I wonder where that went.
I probably took it.
I used to
I gotta
beg for
pay some
money with
bills.
that
I gotta
$100
pay
bill
some
back
bills.
there. But Jefferson Michaelis, thank you for supporting Stay Curious. Marty and Hazel and Dr. Kohler did special Apollo 11 things for them and the Brazil students.
I'll get you a digital one. We'll
Oh,
put it up
okay.
on the screen like the circle.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get you a little wavy one.
Well, here was a fun show. Mikey Haddad, thank you for embracing Stay Curious. He's a payloads specialist that wrote a book on Space Lab.
His
payloads.
shows are so cool. We get the coolest stories off of
That's
him.
astronaut John David Bartow. Yeah, their stories are awesome. And yesterday we had Luis Delgado on with Vongen, Keith Vongen,
Scott,
Vongen. Thank you, Scott Vongen. And
real cool
the
show.
stories they tell are just like unbelievable.
I'm
In
still
fact, they-
telling you, we need Stay Curious After Dark.
Ooh.
Some of the stories that are off camera. I'm just saying.
Well,
Marketing.
You could
I
develop
think.
that.
I think.
Thank you, John David Bartow. He lives around here. We hope to see more of him, but he's
100%.
very active still with the space lab. All these space techies, they still communicate with each other. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun to see that. And Marty, I told you when we were communicating the other night, this is Sarah Sabri in the middle. She is the last person last New Shepard 22 suborbital flight. That was her flight, the first Egyptian to go to space. She witnessed 5 minutes of weightlessness. And Marty, you thought that she walked on the moon. She was unbelievably over there.
That's our made up word. Our Stay Curious word for
That's her posse around her there.
Yeah,
And then the other two guys next to me were visitors from Ireland, I
Whoa.
think, or Scotland or England there. I forget.
No, but your astronauts.
Iman was the other one, I think. Iman and the other guy, if you said his name, I would know.
But our word. Astronauts and the line.
Carbonauts.
Carmenauts.
Yes,
because of the Carmen
that's
line.
Marty has coined the phrase
I love it.
Carmenauts for the Carmen line, 100 kilometers, 66 miles.
So it's
Yep. And she crossed the Carmen line.
so she's a Carmenaut.
What a beautiful soul, though. I mean, what a beautiful lady. She's got a great future ahead of her. Marty, she was awesome, wasn't she? Yeah. All right. And going out of our program here, I finally got to say about Mr. Hugh Harris. As a journalist myself, it was an honor to meet him. In this pixelated picture I took off
It's a little rough there.
we
This
had
is
our
how far we've come.
stay COVID masks on there, the barrier between us, and printed out sheets of his story before him, and then
Shuffling papers.
we kind of hit it off, and then for a year he appeared once a month on Stay Curious. Hugh, we miss you, we love you. That was the most difficult show I ever did when he passed away around February 18th, something like that. Because we had a lot of plans to do some shows. I mean, this was the public affairs officer for NASA for 30
the voice
years.
of NASA.
As either an assistant or the director.
He was
and
so
and
nice.
he came in with his little notebook and had Stay Curious on it.
Yeah.
Everything was typed up.
A little.
And we celebrated his 90th birthday, Jessica, here at
I
our Stay
remember.
Curious studios. And I'll never forget this, Hugh. I said, we blew out the candles. I said, Hugh, did you make a wish? And he said, yes, I did. And I go, well, okay, what was the wish? And he said, Mark, I wish that I could be here for your 90th birthday.
I remember that.
And
I remember that.
a dear guy, and it perplexed me to even think about what a wonderful gentleman he was. And you people that dealt with him know what I'm talking about, the Usiak brothers and CB out there and all of you there. So that's our.
I think I took that picture of him because I was showing him how the green screen worked, and he thought it was so cool because he had been on the show when we did the plexiglass and the paper shuffle, and then we stepped it up, and he saw how much we improved, how far we came.
Well, and we have, and a lot,
And how far we
thank
still have
thank
to
you.
go.
I'm glad it was you that came by too, because we had other plans to Stay Curious. In fact, we had a young man that was a solar system ambassador that I really was going to train to do this, and I told him, I said, I'm gonna put you on the social media spotlight here, and he ended up moving away.
Yeah.
And because sometimes I'm sensitive about all this gray hair and beard and everything,
You
and,
got this.
think that it needs a younger person. But we're doing what we can, the best we do, and people know that one thing I'm passionate about it. So, and I'm also, I'll say this, I'm fussy about the stats.
Yeah.
I know
I've
that
been
you
teaching
space
all the
geeks out
tricks.
there know your space history, and if I say 95 years old, Marty's going to say 90 because that's the right thing, and he's corrected me and kept me online many times.
We had
But
our
we're-
little reminder sheets, our
Yeah.
list. Make sure you acronyms, because when we say
And-
VAB, not everybody knows what the
right,
VAB
and I do
is.
back up
So
our
we
guests
back
on
up.
the VAB.
We
there,
gotta
so.
clarify those acronyms. Make sure our
And
dates
Marty's
are right.
writing out there what I think I see what he's writing out there.
And fetch the
'Cause
scroll. Where's the scroll?
Oh yeah, I didn't fetch the scroll.
Oh, you didn't fetch the scroll.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me that.
Fetch
Today
the
is
scroll.
3/23/23.
Oh,
And I like things
that's
like that.
good. That's a
My
nice
scroll, thank you
symmetrical
for
number.
reminding me of that.
Is there
This
anything
is
in
every
space history?
mission on here. I've had several astronauts, Leinbach, Harrington.
I put
Bob
the little
Seeger.
I put the little tassels. I
Yeah.
bedazzled it.
Yeah.
We turned it into a scroll.
And
So-
one day, like PBS, we'll auction off the scroll.
It will be
For
a
some
part
big
of space
bucks on
history. I hope.
on there. So, y'all, we hope that you've enjoyed our retrospect look back of Stay Curious. Tomorrow on episode 780, we're going to look back at the week of some space launches and some stuff to come.
You'll fetch
And
the scroll.
we've been fetched the scroll because we'll be sharing the shuttles of the month of March. 11 of them, and we enjoy. I know only 10 of them. That's right. Someone will correct me on that. But
Mark
anyway,
numbers.
a good way is to give you a little more tang there. Give you a little.
Yeah.
Marty, you got anything to say on our UCAC microphone? Please do to our guests out there.
We just had a lot of comments, a lot of favorable comments. People enjoying the show and like reminiscing about the old shows. A lot of good comments.
Great, thank you. Don't be offended, Dave Stingy and Larry Pushkar. If I didn't use your pictures on there, we're going to use them later in the week to promote.
We
our
love
show
and
here.
share everybody giving us all the pictures, all the love in the comments, all the shares, all the subscribe, watching us on all the different platforms we're on, and I can't wait to see what's next.
That's right. And Jessica, thank you very much. We mean that. Marty, love you too, buddy. It's been a great ride.
The whole staff came and surprised us. We have cupcakes to go eat.
Yeah, we
Mark.
got some
Come
cupcakes
on.
to eat and learn about how to bring you a couple more guests from around the world
100%.
on Google Meets on there. So until tomorrow when we'll do it again, I'm Mark Marquette saying we can't wait to see you to what?
To bridge the space between us.